Welcome back to this month's movie recap. They just keep on making movies, don't they? When will it all end? The first new film I saw in the month of July was an expensive animated Netflix original by the name of The Sea Beast, directed by Chris Williams, one of the directors on Disney films such as Bolt and Big Hero 6. It's honestly incredible a film like this even exists. We should really appreciate the unique auteur-driven animation Netflix has been giving us lately, at least while it's still being made. To start off, this is a beautiful movie from a visual standpoint. I was a big fan of the character designs and the massive scale of it all. There are some incredibly appealing bits of cinematography here, and I felt the animators did a terrific job at bringing it all to life. I also really enjoyed how restrained this movie felt in terms of comedy. Its tone was closer to a classic children's novel than the more comedy-driven animation for kids that we get today. For like the first 30 minutes, I was really loving this movie, but as it went on, the magic kind of fizzled out. And I think the main culprit for me feeling this way is that while the film is a wonder on every technical level, its story felt incredibly bare bones. The movie everyone seems to be comparing this to is How to Train Your Dragon, which, yeah, it is that sort of misunderstood monster story. But the film never does a good job at convincing me that these characters would so quickly change their views on something that they've been conditioned to believe their whole lives. Which is a real shame considering that this film is 2 hours long. That's plenty of time to convince me, and I have seen other animated films do it better in less time. There's also a whole plotline revolving around books being used as propaganda, which I didn't entirely like. Not that there aren't horrible people that write books filled with lies, but it comes off a little too much as censoring books is good, which I'm sure was not at all the intention. I understand what they were trying to say here, but I couldn't help but feel its message was a bit muddled. Overall, I would still recommend this film to animation fans just for the visuals alone, but if you're looking for anything profound, I doubt you're going to find it here. I'll give it a meh. The next film I watched was one of the most wholesome things I've seen in a long time, and easily one of the best films of 2022. I'm of course talking about Marcel the Shell, with shoes on. And yes, this movie did get a limited theatrical release in June, but it just got a wide release a few weeks ago, so I'm including it as a July movie. When you take a YouTube character and tell me they're getting their own movie, my mind immediately goes to dark places. But Marcel the Shell is one of the few web series that not only results in a good film adaptation, but also manages to create something truly inspired. This film is both funny and heartfelt. It manages to deal with complicated subjects you rarely see children's films address, but in a way that feels both sincere and easy to understand. It's rare we get a movie like this. Most children's animation is more concerned with comedy, or you get the Pixar, Disney, DreamWorks thing where they try to do a mixture of both comedy and heartfelt moments. Sometimes it works out really well, sometimes it doesn't. But films like this that preach the importance of kindness and do so in a way that never feels insulting to the audience are truly a thing of beauty. It's this year's Paddington 2. This is a family movie made with families in mind, and there's just something about its simplistic, minimalist approach that's almost nostalgic. If you have a heart, this is a must-see. Excellent creative filmmaking, and a movie that I'm almost positive I'll be watching again very soon. A definite thumbs up. The next movie I watched was Netflix's very boring $200 million slog, The Gray Man. A clear reminder that maybe we should just stop making movies altogether. Coming from the Russo brothers, the same guys who directed Infinity War and Endgame, The Gray Man is your average sexy good guy versus mustache bad guy spy movie. There's little hints of humor in there that feel like it's trying to capture the vibe of a Shane Black movie, but none of it really landed for me. This is one of those Netflix films that almost feels like it was completely generated by an AI. It's got everything people would want from a film, but completely misses the point of why people like film to begin with. As far as positives, there are some neat action scenes in this movie with a lot of impressive stunt work. But I found them all lacking in emotional weight, since I didn't care about any of the characters. If Ryan Gosling got shot midway through this movie and the movie ended at the 1 hour mark, I wouldn't really care. In fact, I'd probably like the movie a bit more just because it'd be shorter. Not that it's that long of a movie to begin with, I mean, it could have been far worse. This is a competent movie, there's no glaring plot holes or technical issues of any sorts, but it just wasn't worth my time. I'd rather watch a movie that's a mess but creatively interesting than something that barely holds my interest. And with that said, while this isn't an awful film by any means, it gets the honor of receiving Neil's very first thumbs down because I cannot recommend this to anyone. I know someone out there is going to enjoy this, but I can't imagine why. Thankfully, the next film was yet another reminder of why we even have Hollywood movies to begin with. Jordan Peele's Nope is easily one of the most creative films of 2022, and as of right now, my favorite horror film of the year. It's always a thing of beauty when these auteur horror directors just get free rein to make the films that they want to make. Nope is no exception. A UFO alien encounter movie on the surface that's something far more intriguing underneath. Nope continues Jordan Peele's trend of making horror films that revel in the idea of using the genre as a form of commentary on an issue. This movie has much to say about a variety of topics, but one of its most prevalent is the theme of spectacle, and the things we will do to capture that spectacle. It's very meta in that sense, but in a way that never feels like it's hitting you over the head with it. Could you call something like this pretentious? Yes, but I personally feel it's smart about how it handles its pretension. It also helps that the directing itself is top-notch here. Despite some horrific scenes, this isn't entirely horror either. It reminded me in many ways of Spielberg's Close Encounters, and I think Nope was the big, adventurous blockbuster that we really needed this summer. Because this movie will leave you with a lot of questions, not everyone is going to enjoy it, but I tend to love a film that forces me to think. I'm going to be thinking about this one for a long time and would love to watch it again soon. A thumbs up for Nope. I look forward to whatever Jordan Peele makes next, but for now, he's a 3 for 3 in my book. That's all for now. I'll see you again next month. Hopefully there will be enough movies released in August to justify a recap video. We'll see. Thanks again.